Oh, what's up, Dub Nation? Rich here. My bad. Trying to go live on Instagram at the same time. Sorry, and I failed to do that gracefully. So I'm gonna go live on Instagram right now and say what's up, Dub Nation once again. All right, what's up, Dub Nation? Especially on Instagram. I'm already live on YouTube, but let's see, talking GSW news and more. Film study, maybe do a little film study and more. Link in IG stories. So check that out. Wow, we have so many people around. Maybe we should do more lives on Sunday night on Instagram. I don't know. But yeah, we're on YouTube for all the engagement, by the way. Oh, Bruce Morrow in the house. Daniel Barry per usual. And wow, we got a lot of people. Sunday night might be the thing. I don't know. Hopefully all the Far East people who are at work already this morning, hopefully they tune in. Let me pull up the back screen on YouTube. If you go to the YouTube link, if you're on Instagram, we got a back screen that you can look at as I do my live, or maybe not. It's not working. But we're going to look at the Let's Go Warriors Discord server, which again is still in beta mode. I'm so sorry about that. But once it becomes publicly available, man, I think people will eat it up. How you liking the Discord? My main people, or really Bruce on YouTube. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Yeah, so I don't know if you saw on the Let's Go Warriors website, but I wrote an article about this really cool thing Steph did. And I also want to give credit where credit's due. I wouldn't be surprised if Raymond Ritter had something to do with it as well, because he often, thinks of ideas on behalf of Steph, and this could have very well been another instance of that. I don't know. And as I wrote in the article, sooner or later I'll get the back screen up for you guys. I think I might be glitching on YouTube. Am I glitching on YouTube? It's because my screens won't restart. Yeah, they're all over the place. Man, this sucks. Well, what I can hope is for the batteries on those screens, because I have a laptop situation. It's not separate external monitors, sorry to say. And I can just go for an hour on no external, electrical source. But I know I'm glitching on YouTube like mad right now because my screens are glitching right now. So I apologize for this huge technical problem. I can't get a back screen up yet. Okay, one last try here. No signal. Damn, that hurts. That hurts. But yeah, Steph Curry met with some kids last night in Indianapolis because he knew he wasn't going to play. And so I credit Steph, but I might also credit Raymond Ritter because this guy thinks of stuff. Now, we got tagged on Instagram. If you go look at our tagged tab, so people who have made posts that tag Let's Go Warriors, such as the woman in the back here on my thumbnail. Her name is Courtney. Courtney, and I forgot her last name, but Courtney and her son and daughter, Mika and Moria, they went to the game at Indianapolis last night. During the drive in the what you call quote unquote nasty snow weather, they found out, maybe it was on the radio, maybe it was on social media as you know she was driving and one of her kids somebody just commented on the YouTube, oh, you have a Discord server? And I'm like, yeah. However, email me, melz, email me, and then just wait a little bit. I know I've had other people are waiting like over a month to get access to it. It's just that you want to make sure the infrastructure is in place so that once it's opened up, people will it'll be self-serve rather than me like trying to manually add people, which is like impossible. Oh, thanks, Bruce. Scarberry, Courtney Scarberry. Thanks for reading the article, bro. Yeah, let's share the screen now that I have a screen to look at, but I'm going to run out of laptop power anyways, but back here is the article that I wrote, and that's the first thing I want to do is report the news over the weekend because there's quite a few other things. For example, I mean, just randomly off the top of my head, Tim Hardaway Sr. talked about Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler. Also, Bobby Marks talked about Jimmy Butler. Also, we got more Jimmy Butler news from like during the live stream on Friday that I'll say again. And so let's pull up the Discord server on the back screen. And there's this stuff going on all the time. So here I have a channel called Every Post, and that's where I post everything. It's like just a dump of everything that people can see. Now, this is going to be behind a paywall because this is a lot of hard work. But it's well worth it, in my opinion. $5 a month. I mean, come on. You get a curated feed of everything that we get through Twitter, nearly on the minute, if not on the hour, if not by the end of the day. But this was Courtney Scarberry's post on Instagram. It's in the article, and the article is in the description. There's a link right there. Okay, so we're just scrolling back in time here. Here's the Bobby Marks comment on Jimmy Butler. He thinks Jimmy's going to stay in Miami, but we'll come back to it. This is a scene from Toronto morning shoot-around. Andrew Wiggins is back, okay? And then we'll report on all of that. Here is another post, the one that got popularized on social media of Steph meeting with the kids. This one is from Brian Hastings. That one was like redistributed by ESPN and I think like Bleacher Report, you know, the major aggregators. So that one got a lot more attention than the one from Courtney. But the one from Courtney, she tagged me on. So I found that out this afternoon. And then I asked her follow-up questions about it. And it was really cool. So we'll go through that. We have behind the scenes video courtside from Detroit and Indianapolis, like stuff that didn't get reported at all. All right. So we have that. And I just want to go through some general news. Somebody took a close-up, a professional photographer took a close-up of Steph Curry's head, you know, his head, his scalp. And it was a close-up, and it was at the Sixers-Warriors game because this guy, Max Molina, is a photographer for the Sixers, and there's like gray hair showing all over the place. Breaking news, Steph Curry has gray hairs. Meanwhile, I say that we have 30 concurrents right there on YouTube. We have behind the scenes video from Andrew Wiggins' house. I mean, we have so much stuff. Like we just have a lot of content, and it's like family content. It's not necessarily always interviews and whatnot, but yeah, so that's where we left off. Now, before I go into Andrew Wiggins' daughter, and before I get into Jimmy Butler, and this one is from Tim Hardaway Sr., former Warrior Tim Hardaway Sr. Before we do that, which is like general news, which is step one in the description of what we were going to do tonight on the live. Step 4 is to check the comments, by the way. We're going to look at that article that I wrote and get into the details of Steph inviting kids to the back room. Okay, so I described in the article right here on the back, put a link in the comments. I described how Courtney was driving her kids to the game. She bought them. Her son, Mika, and her daughter, Moria, are diehard Steph Curry fans, wearing the jerseys. And it's really, really cute because they arrived early because they, like most of the Steph Curry fandom knows, he warms up about an hour and a half before tip-off. And I've always recommended that to families. Get there at exactly 1.5 hours before tip-off, if not earlier. Ask the ushers to let you in. They always do. Of course, when warm-ups are done, when pregame routines are done, they have to go back up. So she bought nosebleed tickets for her daughter and son. And here's a picture of them. Aren't they the cutest things? Look at the daughter with like a balloon. I mean, that's precious. That is precious. Okay. And we have more pictures in the article. So what happened is they're just there, in their Steph Curry jerseys, lower bowl. They're there early. They would be watching Steph Curry normally. Obviously, he's not even warming up. Of course not. He's going to rest tonight, rest the knees. Meanwhile, Steve Kerr is on the podium in the bowels of Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, and he's on the podium, and he's saying, yeah, Steph had a little bit more fluid in his knee again, so we're going to rest him tonight. So the bursitis is back. So Steph has bursitis in the knees. It's a tendonitis, and that needs to be managed by Rick Celebrini. So until further notice, he's not playing in back-to-back. So we purposely rest him, and that was explained right when they come in to the lower bowl to watch warmups. Now, they already know Steph isn't going to play, so them going to the lower bowl and then seeing that Steph's not there, that pretty much put 2 and 2 together. They're like, okay, so he's not warming up. He's not playing tonight. We're just here. We're here anyways. Let's watch other Warriors warm up. All of a sudden, Courtney says, a man in a suit comes up to say that Steph wanted to meet with some kids tonight. Okay, that's this paragraph. The man in the suit is Raymond Ritter. He does this stuff. Like this is the altruistic side of Raymond Ritter. Okay? And he's there, obviously, the whole game and going to be there the whole game doing his PR stuff. But he was on the lookout for any Steph Curry fans to come downstairs. We're going to have Steph apologizes that he's not going to play tonight, but he wanted to meet some of you. So follow me I'll take you down. And where he took them was right here. This room you see on my YouTube back screen, that is what I think is the coach's room. How do I know this? Because it's a smaller room, number one. Number two, you can see the Golden State Warriors logo banner behind the table, which means that's where they did the podium interviews. They don't do that in the locker room. So you have to find another room to do that. And just by deduction, that has to be the coach's room because it still looks like a locker room. So there's always a coach's room and the player's locker room in every arena. So Raymond takes him down. You can see this picture right here. This is from, I think it's from Brian Hastings, the other guy that went viral on this. So Raymond is leading them in. Courtney Scarberry tells me like they were there first, and you can see that they're the deepest in the room here. And then she says, then 10 to 15 other kids show up. So Raymond is escorting them like 1, 2, or 3 times. He's got to go back and get more kids, go back and get more kids. So then Steph shows up. And what does Steph say? Well, I got the video from Courtney. Here is the video of, it's about 45 seconds long, but this is what Steph told the kids when he came into the coach's room.
Oh my goodness.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Nice to see everybody. Thank y'all for coming out to the game. Sorry that I can't get out there to play today. It's a very long season. Some nights you have to take a little rest. Unfortunately, tonight. But I hope you have an amazing time. Appreciate all the support. Representing Dub Nation. Means a lot to have everybody here cheering us on. You are the reason that we get to play this game. And why we love it so much. So just want to spend a little time with y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming again. And hopefully you have an amazing, amazing night. Have the best time of your life, all right? Sound good? And next year when I come back, hopefully I'll play.
Yes.
Sound good?
Yeah, so let's do it by family.
Yeah, I'll sign.
Why don't you come?
So Steph signed all the jerseys and all the T-shirts that they had. Here are more pictures that I got from Courtney. She's got a signed jersey. Here's Steph, and I mean, you can see it better if you click on it, okay? More signed T-shirts, and it was just a wonderful experience for them. And if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, would you rather meet Steph personally and have your mom video it and have an autograph, or would you rather have gone to the game to see Steph play in the nosebleeds? You know, like I think this experience is definitely tops everything, right? And so that is the story. Now, here is the one from Brian Hastings. This is the one that ESPN aggregated. And so he's one of the 15 kids that were there. The story behind that one in the caption was pretty cool, but you guys can go read it. It's on Instagram. It's in I copied and pasted it into our article. It's just really cool how things unfolded. And then the last thing that Steph said was, Courtney writes, "We took you up on your word and enjoyed a big old thing of popcorn while we enjoyed the game." So Steph told them to get some popcorn. So I wonder where Indiana ranks on the top 30 that he has. But that is the story of Steph Curry with the assistance of Raymond Ritter to escort 10 to 15 kids to the coach's room to meet Steph when they knew in advance that Steph wouldn't play. They knew in advance that morning. Remember, the night before, obviously there were questions from Anthony Slater and all of the beat writers to say, do you know if Steph's playing tomorrow yet? And Steve, doing the same old thing on the podium, was like, yeah, we'll just have to see how they feel in the morning. But I think all along they were leaning towards not playing Steph, especially if there's still fluid in that knee with the whatever it is, bursitis, tendonitis. So that's going to be an ongoing thing for Steph, I think. Now, fast forward, let's go to Discord. Speaking of injuries, Draymond Green, he has a back issue. And the latest on that, we can look in the GSW feed on Discord. I just saw it. And I'm just going to scroll up a little bit, go back in time. So this is the latest and greatest. A whole bunch of beat writers chimed in on that. It's like Piranha. One guy tweets it out, everybody else tweets it out at the same time. They have to do that. It's their job. So right here, Anthony Slater, Draymond Green is questionable tomorrow in Toronto with that back issue. Steph Curry is cleared to play. Andrew Wiggins is back. Gary Payton and Brandon Pajemski remain out. So if I hadn't had time to copy and paste this over, because I was out of town actually earlier today. And so we will catch up on today's news as soon as I scroll down and hit that little video clip from Sam Gordon of the San Francisco Chronicle of Wiggins shooting around at shoot-around. So back to the Jimmy Butler stuff. Tim Hardaway Sr., as Bruce has mentioned in the comments on YouTube, Hardaway goes, Jimmy Butler is trying to sink that ship. That ship is not going to sink with Pat Riley there. So Pat Riley gave the NBPA a 10-page letter on why they suspended Jimmy Butler for 7 games, and he gave him some film. So I think, yeah, he was just being extra toxic. And that's why Bruce and other people don't want Jimmy Butler to be on the team in a trade with the Warriors, but also everything's leaning more towards the Phoenix Suns anyways, because as we reported Friday night, Kendrick Perkins went out on social media, or ESPN really, and then it got viral on social media, said that that his sources told him that Phoenix has a 2-year, $121 million extension ready to give to Jimmy. That's like $60 million a year. That's a lot of money for Jimmy Butler. I don't know that I'd pay that. But if I'm Jimmy Butler, I'd want to go get that money because no one else is going to pay him $60 million. So go and get that. If I'm Jimmy, I want to go to Phoenix. Here is Wiggs' daughter, Alayah. She's going to say she has a boo-boo. This is really cute. Watch this.
What happened?
She said, "Hey, let me put the Band-Aid on my finger." So I have a boo-boo.
You got to. How long do you got to keep it on?
6 days.
6 days for the Band-Aid?
Yeah.
Okay.
6 days. So Alayah Wiggins will be reevaluated in 6 days. Oh man, that one's hilarious. We write that in the notes. Boo-boo on finger, reevaluated in 6 days. There's another quick video of her, but I didn't put that in the Discord. But here's their house. This is the backyard of their house. Now, what's happening here? First of all, these were publicly available Instagram stories, and so this is not like private. And I got access to their camera or something. No.
What happened?
All right. So these are the two ones that I had on the Discord server. There's actually been a couple more. I just haven't had time to post them. There's one where she's at Chuck E. Cheese and she refuses to say hi to Chuck E. Cheese. So what's happening here is that Andrew was with his wife, Michael. She probably, well, we don't have it corroborated, but all signs pointing to her giving birth to their first son. So their third baby is going to be a son, and this is Michael's dad, Alayah's grandfather, obviously, taking care of her while Andrew tends to his wife, presumably at the hospital. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm probably not. So that's why there's some Andrew Wiggins' daughter news, if you want to call it that, out there. Okay, Steph's gray hair showing. So Max Molina, 87. If you just go to the Instagram, let me show the back screen over here. Just put that on our article and change the back screen on YouTube to show that Instagram post. If you scroll over to this one, you can see this is a picture of his hair. And there's a lot of gray hairs in there. So Steph becoming very wise before our eyes. Back to the Discord server. We move on. Just, I mean, post anything related. So this YouTube is my behind the scenes from Detroit. And I have a few notes in here that I want to talk about. But since it's already on YouTube, you can go and watch that if you'd like. And copy message link. No, that's not it. Just go here. So the behind the scenes video. Detroit indie behind the scenes videos right here. So there's a lot of like basketball related clips in there. There are also courtside clips. Detroit is really good to get courtside clips because for whatever reason at Little Caesars Arena, there's more people that post on Instagram that have really good seats courtside. I don't know why. It's just one of those arenas. Next up on, so we'll come back to this and we'll, pick out all the nitty gritty stuff, which I really like. Most importantly, I wanted to show you how Steph manages a game. Like the way he moves with the ball. I've said this before. Just the confidence and the skill level. I have a clip from the game before that, which we lost. But the one where he went between the legs like 3 times. Then there was another one where he split the double team. Like, I mean, just those really smooth ball handling moves. I just really haven't seen that really the grace of it all. I haven't seen it since like Michael Jordan. He's just really graceful with the ball. And we have courtside footage of that. And I want to show you that later. But we move on the Discord server, which is a reflection of all the news that came out. And then after that, I got the Instagram post of Steph inviting those fans, those kids over. And then finally this morning, we have this view from morning shootaround. So why don't we just watch it? Hopefully there's no background music, but we'll see. Oh, there is background music. So I'm going to have to mute this. And we'll just watch Wiggins shoot around a little bit. He's shooting around with Kyle Anderson. Look at the slow-mo release. And Draymond. It's always Andrew, Kyle, and Draymond. And we can turn the music off. Only 2 seconds left. Yeah, this is the Toronto Raptors practice facility, which is inside of Scotiabank Arena. Kareth Burke did a little piece about this a couple years ago. This is the same gym that Steph and Seth Curry used to, as kids, play one-on-one with each other during games when Del Curry was in the main court playing for the Toronto Raptors. So this court has a lot of significance for Steph himself. So it's just kind of neat how it's always full circle when Steph comes back here to shoot around. Isn't that nuts? And again, that's part of how I think Steph became the altruistic individual that he's become. To be able to like play basketball like pretty much unsupervised during Toronto Raptors games and then run downstairs and join their dad for the fourth quarter. I mean, like, there had to be daily reminders from Del Curry to say, hey, Steph, hey, Seth, you guys got to remember how blessed you are to have these privileges. And so I think Steph really did get a sense of how privileged he was. And obviously growing up in the church as well, you know, just really good guidance and principles and morals. And I think that formed in his subconscious brain. So your subconscious brain is 95% of everything that you do. You can think a thought in your forebrain, but if it doesn't exceed the emotional quotient of the rest of your subconscious mind, in other words, your habits, including your bad habits, you're still going to resort to your habits. That's how the brain works. So I would advise everyone to learn more about how the brain works, because this stuff has been thoroughly studied, and it can help you emotionally regulate yourself. It was very important for me just the other day when I told some of you about the Andre Iguodala stuff, which I'm not going to harp on tonight. Those of you who know, you know already. Those of you who don't, you'll know tomorrow. But like, to have that emotional regulation is very important so that you don't ruin your relationships, so that you're a happier person in life, so that you can always tap that resource of gratitude that you have, which is what I'm trying to teach everybody all the time. So we move on. Anyways, the other part of the Jimmy Butler stuff that came about kind of quietly under the radar this weekend is that Bobby Marks even said that Miami needs Butler and Butler needs Miami. So he thinks that Jimmy Butler is going to stay with the Heat. And then obviously he's going to pick up the $52 million player option. I just don't think he's going to get a deal out there because he's older. And I think Paul George is going to be the last guy to get a max who is, you know, near 35, who is a superstar. I think other than guys like, I mean, we're gonna see how that plays out. Like, what I'm not including is like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and we watch him for the next 10 years, and when he's 35, that's unpredictable, right? Like, that doesn't, I'm not talking about guys like that. That's not the same as a Paul George or Jimmy Butler. I'm talking about guys who are already mid-30s, up for extensions coming up. They're not going to get the Paul George deal. Why? Because of Paul George. It's like, you know, no one thinks he's worth 50 million right now, right? And probably not even Daryl Morey, but he had to pay that to create that team, to give them a chance. He kind of had no choice. But if you do have a choice, then you're probably saving your money these days in the second apron era. That's my opinion. And then that's pretty much all I got. I posted my own article and this live stream. So to me, this is news, is what we're doing right now. So what's next? Well, I don't know. Let's check the notes. I was going to do film study maybe. So we have covered everything we just needed to cover as far as news from this past weekend. So should we do film study? What should we do next? What should we do next? We got film study, which I don't know. We'd have to do another poll. We'd have to do another poll and determine if we're looking at Detroit or Indy. I'm gonna guess Pistons because we won that game. What else? We could do behind the scenes. Oh, we're going to do that anyway. Behind the scenes, Detroit, Indy. Kind of going to do that regardless. But what do we do next? Andre Iguodala, reminisce, tribute. We did that the other day too. But I have a tab already set up for Andre Iguodala. And there's trade talk or therapy. So if you need to talk about anything, we can talk about that. So I think while we go through that, all right, let's check the comments. Arbel is watching football, Washington and Tampa. Phoenix loves the elderly, says Bruce. Okay. Wow, we want trade talk. Wow, it's changed. Since before, only got 3 votes. What? Wow. All 3 votes want trade talk. Okay, Bruce is rolling his eyes right now. I assume that wasn't you, right, Bruce? Okay, so Melly Melz, I got the, okay, you emailed me, good. Well, it'll take me a while to get back to you on the Discord stuff, but like either check your email and wait or just come back to live streams, and every day I'm on live, like during games, I'll let you know if I set up the Discord. Oh, cool. Wow. Aim Assist says LaMelo Ball and the Hornets are 5 minutes away from a second straight win against Phoenix. Wow. Tampa beat Washington. Oh, too bad. Oh, Washington. I don't know. Washington won. Washington beat Tampa. Whatever. I don't care about NFL. I'm a Niners fan. Okay, so we're done with Discord. Share screen. Back here. We could look at the behind the scenes. Okay, we're going to do trade talk then. Wow. Did get 4 votes? 5 votes. Okay, we'll talk about trades. All right, so I think overall, I don't think we can do a trade until Dennis Schroder becomes available to be traded. And that's not until February 5th or 6th. The reason why is just to have more flexibility. Because if you're going to trade for Vucevic and he's not like a hot commodity, which doesn't seem like he's a hot commodity, then why not just wait it out to see if you have to pay the price of a Dennis Schroder plus Looney, or, you know, whatever it is, because you're going to have to get up to 20 million. Sure would be nice and easy to do Dennis Schroder's 13 million and then figure out the rest. Right? So that's the first thing. I don't think a trade will be done until February 5th or 6th because Schroder can't be traded until then. The other moving target is Jonathan Kuminga, obviously. We went through that analysis Friday night. And what I concluded was by the time Jonathan comes back, I'm going to guess is 12 games from now, conservatively. We could go 8-4. We could be 4 games over 500. We're 500 right now. So going 8-4 puts us 4 games over 500. And at that point in time, we could say that, okay, the rest of the schedule looks, much easier than the first half of the season. Maybe we can write it out with Kuminga, but maybe not. And if we're worse, then I'm going to say 8-4. And there are some very difficult teams, such as Boston, coming up. Had the whole schedule right here. OKC is on the 29th. Like, you got Boston and OKC coming up before the trade deadline. And that'll be part of the mathematics of evaluating your own team. So it's hard to predict what's going to happen. I've got these as losses. So part of going 8-4 is going to be a loss against OKC at home, a loss against Boston at home. But who knows? And we don't even know when Pods is coming back. So it's a mess right now. It's just a real mess, but also trade ramifications. So Dennis Schroder can't be traded until February 5th or 6th. But anyways, let's just go ahead and look at the Vucevic trade. Now, we did come up with a Vucevic and Jimmy Butler 3-team deal to just bring him here in one fell swoop. And that one requires Dennis Schroder. It probably will require some draft picks as well. So that is the quandary right now. Do you spend the draft picks to get guys like Vucevic and Jimmy Butler, or do you just kind of go, okay, well, it looks like Steph and Draymond are, getting old before our eyes. And to me, it seems like the older they get, the more prone to throwing the ball to the other team for a layup the other way is. And so it's like, wouldn't you want your draft picks if you've got a fire on the plane, and it's like, oh, that's a metaphor that Jason Kidd once made of the Cal men's basketball team, by the way. So if we got a fire if there's snakes on a plane, wouldn't we want to keep our draft picks? So this is so difficult. I just don't really know. Maybe we'll do a poll on this to see what you think. And then the other thing is I just don't really see a player out there other than Vucevic and or Jimmy Butler, and this is our example of who will really move the needle. Because if it's Cam Johnson, the way to get Cam Johnson is to trade Andrew Wiggins. There's like no other way to do it. So let's look at Cam Johnson's salary. Like, first of all, why would Brooklyn do this? We're going to have to send them some draft picks. And if you're getting Cam Johnson at $22.5 million, like, I just, when Miami played zone on us, like, one thing that we've disliked about Wiggins was that he wasn't attacking that zone. He was just seemingly passive. And I know it's just one game and suddenly you got to play against a team that plays zone all night. It's weird. It throws you off. But was Cam Johnson going to do all these, strong moves to the hoop? Like, the only guy I know of that would have is Jonathan Kuminga. So I don't know that trading Wiggs for Cam Johnson, I don't know that changes anything net. Like, you get a little bit better 3-point shooting, but you get a little bit less pressure on the rim. Of course, Wiggins has to be intentional that game. He can't be passive. But Wiggins at his best is better than Cam Johnson at his best. So that's the problem. Yeah, this is a complete myth. Our draft record sucks. That's a complete myth. You're drinking the social media Kool-Aid. Sorry for you. I think Jordan Poole was a pretty damn good pick. I think Jonathan Kuminga was a good pick. Moses Moody, I mean, I wanted Trey Murphy. So maybe that wasn't a good pick, but that's not a bust. James Wiseman got injured. I mean, I saw someone mention, pretty good point, recently. If we had gotten LaMelo Ball, would we have won the 22 finals? Would we have gotten to the championship even? I don't think so. So that just, LaMelo would have gotten in Jordan Poole's way, and it's just too many guards on that squad. Now, we didn't even have Wiseman at all, but yeah, you would have had one extra guard, probably doesn't play much defense. So you're just armchair quarterbacking that type of stuff, and that's not what we do here. Let's go Warriors. We don't just complain for complaining's sake, you know. So on the bad draft picking, I mean, right away, was Poole a bad draft pick? So, I mean, blame Draymond if you're going to blame anything. Our predicament. It's a confluence of a lot of issues. Blame the fact that Clay could not guard the opposing 2 or 3. Blame the fact that you have to have Steph and Clay on the floor at the same time. Therefore, how are you guarding the other team? Because Clay can't guard the 2 or the 3, and Steph can't contain the 1 if the 1 is a superstar like Shea. So Steph and Clay, the combination of their age on defense, that was a real big problem. And then you threw in the Chris Paul as well on defense. So the defense wasn't that great last year. But I understand why Mike Dunleavy took a flyer on Chris Paul. You know, you take a chance, maybe it works out. If it doesn't work out, you can shed the contract, go under the tax to go get Melton, and everything looked like it was going to fit together. Then Melton gets injured. It's like you guys want to blame, and yet it's really just injuries that derailed Wiseman and now derailed Melton, and it's just like, what can you do? I mean, we're not 5-28 like the Pelicans, and we're not decimated in injuries like the Pelicans either, but we do have quite a few injuries that we're dealing with. So I don't know that Wiggins for Cam Johnson makes sense at all. Plus, you're spending a draft pick on that. I just don't know that works. I'd rather have Wiggins than the draft pick still. Cam Johnson is a good player. It just doesn't move the needle as much. Now, Vucevic, the interesting thing is that we got to see Quentin Post space the floor just the other night. And if you just replaced Post with Vucevic, it's intriguing, right? Of course, He's very slow on defense, as Bruce is going to point out in the comments. He's an orange cone. But just looking at that, as I said earlier, $20 million contract. You're either going to have to do I still have trouble finding the combinations that work, but it'd have to be Vucevic and somebody else for Looney, Gary Payton, and more, right? Just a combination of guys. And Chicago doesn't care about Looney and Gary Payton or probably even Schroder. They want draft picks. So that's the problem. And if you have Schroeder's contract as a possibility to throw in there, that makes it a lot easier, because that's 13 out of the 20 million needed to make the deal. So I don't think Vucevic will gain momentum until like the last day of the trade deadline. But who knows? I think it's just an issue of managing fans' expectations right now. So I would advise all fans to not really check your Twitter until like February 5th, because like it's probably a hard deal to do right now, especially when you can't trade Schroeder as part of it. And the other thing, just on the court, Podziemski's injured right now, so you don't have, another playmaker out there if you trade away. Well, you can't trade away Dennis. So, I don't know. Just I don't get a good feeling of a trade happening if we have less flexibility to go out and get Vucevic right now. Now I don't even want to look at Jimmy Butler anymore, because of when Kendrick Perkins said that Phoenix is ready to pay Jimmy $60 million for a year for the next 2 years. I'm like, that's above market value. That's way above market value. And I'm one of those guys that I want value contracts. I don't care who it is. It needs to be a value contract. The last thing you want to do as an NBA GM is to have contracts that are overvalued. For example, Zach LaVine, right? 40 plus million in Chicago. There's no GM in the NBA that would want to pay Zach LaVine willingly over 40 million right now. And so you don't want to be stuck with a guy like Jimmy Butler and then have to commit 60 million to him next year. It's just not fiscally responsible in managing your finances of salaries. So I don't even think we need to talk about Jimmy anymore, because Phoenix, if Kendrick Perkins says that he has sources and makes you wonder who that might be, I mean, it's probably Kevin Durant, right? So like, you just put all the dominoes together. It's like, okay, if Phoenix can pay 60 million for Jimmy, and if I were the Suns, I'd probably do it, because they're languishing right now. Let's refresh the standings. They're stuck at 500, and like, they need a jolt. So go out and get Jimmy, trade Beal for Jimmy. I know there's a no trade clause for Beal that complicates everything, but I mean, Jimmy has to be your number one target, because you're a second apron team. There's not much else you can do. Here's suddenly out of the blue an opportunity to change your team, second apron style. Just go and do it. I mean, once you're second apron and once you're going for the super team style, I mean, just go all in on that. I have no qualms with Phoenix doing things the way they're doing it, especially when you're out in Phoenix. I mean, you're a small market team. What else are you going to do? You're not a place that normally attracts free agents. So you happen to develop an elite player, an Olympian, Devin Booker. You had the opportunity to trade for a first ballot Hall of Famer in Kevin Durant. You needed another star. It happened to be Beal at the time. Now you can flip Beal for Jimmy Butler, a much tougher player and all of that. Go for it. Like, that's just how it goes. And I'd love to see it implode. I would. It's imploding right now, right? I mean, I'm not here to root for the Suns if they get Jimmy Butler. Heck no. I want it to implode, but like, I understand that that's a sound strategy. What else are they going to do? So I don't think it's worth looking at Jimmy Butler anymore. Sadly, I never got to write the article on that because Dean went through a lot of trouble to come up with this 3-team trade that landed both Jimmy and Vucevic. So let's check the comments and find out what else you want to talk about. Because trade-wise, I mean, the only other name that would intrigue me is Zion. However, you know, he could have bad hamstrings. You never know, right? Could be damaged goods. So that's the danger with Zion is it damaged goods. Now, I'm not going to trade Kuminga. I'm not one of those that will trade him because I've seen enough. I've seen us do the inverted screen. I've seen J.K. before he got injured, literally that night that he got injured, he's getting into the paint and he's dishing off. He's I should really do a behind the scenes video of this. I have the clips. I just haven't had time to, or I forgot. It's been, games since then, but like he was directing Dennis Schroder to go set the pick for Steph in motion. Like when I saw that, I'm like, wow, JK finally, he's got it. Like he's feeling it out there, not only for himself, but for Steph. And he's directing Dennis to go set a pick for Steph. That's next level for Kuminga. So I can't trade Kuminga. And why else would New Orleans do this deal? They've got to get something in return for, the former number 1 pick. So I don't know how we get Zion if we're not giving up Kuminga. And I just don't know. I have high hopes. Like Kuminga comes back. If we don't have too many back-to-backs coming up, then maybe we can have Steph play some of these games. We do have this one, Sacramento and Chicago, but it's at Sacramento, then you come home to Chase Center for Chicago. So, and then here you have Utah, OKC. So that's a tough one. But anyways, one of them's OKC, so maybe you kind of like tank this one, have Steph rest on this one with OKC. And somehow I think maybe we can still go 8-4 in the next 12 games. But if we don't, then I'll change my mind and I'll say, okay, maybe we should look at Zion. But I'm not trading JK for Zion. So that's gonna cost Wiggins and probably some picks. Wiggins and Schroder probably add up to Zion. Zion's at 37. Wiggins is at 23 plus Dennis at 13. That gets you 39. So they'd have to throw in a $2 million guy. So one of these guys, just a salary filler. So I don't think today is the day to to go for Zion. We got to really see what we got right before the deadline. So those are all my opinions on possible trades. Like everything else, I don't think doesn't move the needle. And all of these solutions, well, really just Jimmy, which isn't a solution anymore because it looks like if there's any team you go to, it'd be Phoenix. And then I told you what Bobby Marks said today. He thinks Jimmy will stay in Miami. It's just like, I don't think Jimmy's on my radar screen anymore. So on Jimmy Butler, either Phoenix or stay in Miami, but not at 60 million. We should check back with Dean because Dean Chambers really wanted Jimmy and would have traded Kuminga for Jimmy. I wouldn't trade J.K. yet. But then again, ask me on February 5th. Just writing notes in the description. I think you got to be really careful with those first round picks. And the bottom line is we can play better. And I think JK in the mix, it was looking really exciting. And I think he changes the team, or he changed the team. So when JK is playing at his best, man, it looks really, really like a dynamic team, to use the same words that Steve Kerr used. But let's catch up on some comments. Been a while since I looked at the comments. Okay. Wiggins has lost some athleticism. Market is dry. Is it athleticism or is it the same mental struggles? Go for Jerami Grant? Wow. How's Jeremy's defense? I don't think it's that great. Honestly, I actually prefer Wiggins on defense. And then offensively, I mean, they're very similar players. 29 million. Oh man, but then you're committed to Jerami Grant out here. So the other thing is what I worry about with Jerami is when he bailed on Nuggets for free agency. Is he truly a winner? That's my issue with Jerami Grant. And then also, same old. It always goes back to, why would Portland do the deal? Are you going to throw in a pick to get Jerami Grant? Oh, I just don't know if he moves the needle. Like, to use a pick, I'd want it to move the needle. We just spent 3 second rounders was it 3 or net 2? I think we netted 2 second rounders for Schroder, and Schroder has not moved the needle yet. So I still hold out hope that he will, but yeah. Let's check the let me check perplexity just to make sure. What were the terms of the Warriors trade for Schroder? Acquired a second round pick. Yeah, we sent out 3 second round picks and acquired 1. And so basically net 2 second round picks for Schroder, and we sent out Reese Beekman. So you would hope anytime you use a pick that contribute the player that you got has contributed to wins, plural. I think Dennis so far has contributed to, from what I can remember, 1 win. Like, he really affected that win. Maybe 2. Maybe 2. You'd hope it's more than that in the 8 or 9 games that he's played. So you'd hope that he would move the needle at least the majority of the time. So, like, if he's played 9 games, hopefully he's moved the needle at least like 5 times. But to my recollection, he's only impacted like 2 wins. And we're not winning either. So to move the needle, you need to win games too. You got to at least go 5-4 in 9 games. And we haven't done that. But that I bring that up on Dennis just to show you that this is going to turn out to be a bad trade if this is the same Dennis that we're getting every single night. So he has to improve, and I'll give him some more time, like till the end of the trade deadline, February 5th. But like, I'm expecting him to impact the game more coming up, because we spent 2 second rounders on you, man. So like, hope it really turns out. Anyways, Wiggins shoots too many threes. Speaking of which, Jerami Grant, what is his 3-point percentage, and compare it to Wiggins, right? So bkref.com, Andrew Wiggins. This year he's at 39.4, career 35.6. Jerami Grant. Let's see where he's at. 38.2, 36.5, pretty much the same. Slightly less, actually. I do not like post-shooting threes, really? Wow. Need more rim presence. Well, he didn't. Wait a minute. I thought Quinton Post did attack the paint. He missed on one, at least one, but Cam Johnson can definitely shoot. All right, let's check the numbers real quick. All of this is just, repetition for us. 43.6, that's pretty good. Career 39.8. So he's a better 3-point shooter than Wiggs. I don't think he has as much repertoire of moves. So, yeah, I don't know. But you're not going to get him like straight up. You're going to have to spend at least a second rounder. And I'm just not sure that Wiggins looks as attractive as a player to get back compared to whatever other offers are out there for Cam Johnson. So, yeah. Anybody know if Dean Chambers is around? We should get him on there. Okay, let me go update the notes. All right. What else we got in the comments on YouTube, that is? We don't have any luck with non-traditional bigs that can get buckets. I mean, so we've had Looney. I mean, I guess 2022, we kind of, I mean, Otto Porter doesn't really count as, I mean, Bielitsa. Yes and no. I mean, Saric was hot and cold. I think you just got to look at the situation on February 5th. How desperate are you to pursue Vucevic? If you want to keep Looney, keep Looney. You know, I don't think it's that bad. And I just need Kuminga back because I can't evaluate this team without Kuminga. And hopefully he's on a heater. Hopefully he's playing up to his potential like every single game. But we'll see. We'll see. Well, you guys don't have to worry about Quentin Post. QP is a project, so to speak. You know, it will be a surprise if he's ready to go by playoffs. Like, he just needs reps. We need to see him game plan against in G League, which I don't think has happened yet. They don't really know him that well yet. So it's like the G League is new to this. And as I reported on the channel, if you go look at the channel, looking at the back screen on YouTube, on our website, on our YouTube channel, right here, this one with Steve on Quentin Post and Quentin Post himself. Quinton Post is telling us he still gets nervous. So if he's working on his nerves, they literally ask him, what are your concerns? I'm paraphrasing, obviously. He's up there at the podium saying, oh, my nerves. Dude, I mean, but I understand it. Like, so why does he profess having nerves? Well, first of all, he's not an AAU kid. He's from the Netherlands. So number one, it's culture shock, okay? Culture shock from Netherlands. And number two, it's really, I don't think he expected to be in the NBA. So this is all a dream come true. And he's a little shell-shocked himself. And that's fine. That's being a human being. But that's definitely not AAU culture, right? AAU culture, now, I don't know his AAU background or whatnot, but he just doesn't have the swag of a guy that's been brought up through the American system, right? And so there's going to be confidence issues. So he has to come to grips that he is good enough. And the sooner he does that, the more of a regular he will be up in the big league. The problem is you've got to develop that somewhere, and you're not going to develop that in the big league because you're going to get DNP after DNP. So just go to Santa Cruz and keep playing. That's all he has to do. In fact, it reminds me of when my dad, one of the best pieces of advice that I got when I was 21 years old is he said, don't worry about it, Rich. You just need to play more. Okay. So Quinton Post being an impact at the NBA level, do not expect that until next year. There's no way around this. I mean, he himself is basically telling you that on the podium. But anyways, I went on a little tangent of Quinton Post there. Okay. And we have offensive droughts right now. Aim assist brought up, which is why I need to see the team with more and more reps with J.K. J.K. playing at the level that he did before he got injured, those last two games. Let's see. Let's go back to the Golden State salary table. Bruce is mentioning Zion's professionalism. He's been late, got suspended for a game, which is true. So yeah, that's of concern as well. I just think you'd have to pay too much to get Zion. In other words, send out a draft pick. And I don't want to do that unless there's pretty much a guarantee that we're going to get, immediate impact based on spending a draft pick. Okay. Next comment on YouTube again. If you're on Instagram, go check our IG stories where I'm engaging with a lot of comments on YouTube. That's why we're late for rebounds now. That's I gotta delete that. I'll send you the video here. Steve Kerr, first 3 steps. When we were last year, we were number 2 in the league in rebounding. We've really improved that area because of the approach to rebounding. I'm not worried about rebounding. I'm worried about offensive firepower. We need to make layups. Cut down on turnovers. Oh, gosh. Yeah. We'll see. Again, that's another thing to ask yourself on February 5th. Can you trust our team to keep turnovers to single digits? Things to ask yourself on February 5th. And really, can you trust Steph, Dre, Wiggs, Dennis to keep turnovers, and Looney, veterans, single digits each game amongst them? Granted, it doesn't help if Kuminga goes in there and turns the ball over 3, 4, 5 times, which he has shown to do this year. But that's part of the Kuminga side of the problem, which he just needs to play well. The way he had been playing the last 2 games, distributing the ball, the 25 and 5 in 25 minutes. I mean, that in and of itself was just keep doing that. You keep doing that, we'll break out of this funk. Okay. Wiggins had a beautiful mid-range. So you guys still want Valanciunas? I don't know. Like, he's shooting 12% from threes. So what are we doing with that then? Where's my BK ref? Here it is. Has he improved from 12% last time we checked? Yeah, he's at 19%. Hey. Well, he went 1 for 1 the other night. So that's the problem with JV is that he really doesn't shoot threes. Now, is he an upgrade on Looney? Possibly, but then why does Washington do the deal? What are they going to get? And can you integrate JV soon enough to do all of those screens and whatnot? Yeah, maybe. So if you're going to spend a 2nd round pick along with Looney to go get JV, who can guard the Zubatses of the world, start against Jokic? That'd be nice. Yeah. But it better be a sure thing. So if you're going to send second rounder to Washington, then you better be sure JV will be better than Looney. So, yeah, maybe he is. I don't know. I keep an open mind on that one. But again, without Kuminga, it's really hard to judge this team. So, are you gonna judge the next game how Looney plays? Well, it's not actually a normal game because JK is not in the lineup. Neither is Brandon. So it's like we're not at full strength. So, gosh, it's really hard to judge this team when we're not at full strength and then you expect us to be full strength. But we've kind of had this quandary before, like last year. Where was the JV question? Aim assist. I don't know that there's another big other than Vooch or Valanciunas out there at all. So you're saying it better be Valanciunas or Vooch. Yeah, I mean, who else is there? Those are some things we can throw in the poll. All right. How far am I behind on comments? 8:38 p.m. Oh, man, I'm pretty far behind. Let's see. Okay. A little bit of both. Oh, crap. I don't know what I said. Oh, yeah, gotcha. Talking about Wiggins, athleticism versus mental. Cam Johnson looks like a better free thrower. You're probably right. Let's go check that out. I'm curious. Cameron Johnson. But again, I don't know that I'd want to spend a pick to go get to upgrade, I guess. He doesn't drive to the hole as well as Wiggs. Anyways, 89% free throws. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know. It would be a downgrade on the amount of dollars going to him, to Cam Johnson out in the outer years. Man, I'm trying to think. Would Cam Johnson have made a difference against Miami's zone the other night? Like, oh, so he's automatically going to hit threes from the wing. You want to attack the zone from the middle at the nail. So you got to be real knocked down if you're going to throw him into the equation on that. So I don't know. What am I looking at here? Wiggins, 26, 28, 30. Looking at Cam Johnson one more time. Yeah. I'll tell you what, the Cam Johnson contract looks better than Wiggs. Just a slightly better value. I tell you what, you throw in Zaire Williams, he could play some defense. 28.6 million, 26.2. That's too much. You can't throw in Zaire. Sorry. And they're not going to send Cam Thomas, people. Stop with that. Because that's a value contract. That's $4 million for Cam Thomas. That's a great deal. Dayron Sharp. Oh, gosh. Don't know enough about him. If I did the Cam Johnson deal, I like it because his contract is pretty good coming up. I wonder how they got him to do 22.5, then dip down to 20.5, then 22.5. Of course, that was probably when he was with Phoenix, but I'm not sure. So I do like Cam Johnson's contract value next year and year after versus Wiggs. But again, is it worth probably a first rounder is what Sean Marks wants. So that's at 22.5 this year, 20.5, 22.5. Now, would I rather have Wiggins on the floor in a playoff game? I probably would rather have Wiggins just by a small margin more so than Cam. But how we got there, spending a first round pick maybe, I don't know about that, right? So these are tough decisions, and I think overall the issue with Cam Johnson, as I said before, we've talked about this now, 2 tangents, is does he really move the needle that much? If you're giving up Wiggs, of course he moves the needle. If you were to get Cam Johnson and Wiggs on the same team together somehow, of course, you know that really helps. But now you're trading them for each other. It's like, what's the net? It's really tough to say, and I don't know how GMs feel about second rounders, first rounders, what have you. There's just not enough sample size so far. We've gotten, a Mikal Bridges deal last summer that had a bunch of picks, 4 first rounders. I think we have yet to see if it will pay dividends in the playoffs. That's when you judge that deal. And they may be judging that deal right now. I think the Knicks are probably struggling a little bit, and you would hope, if you were a Knicks fan, that 26 and 14 third, hey, I mean, that's pretty good. I just saw a tweet from Knicks reporters the other night where they lost and they were complaining about Cat, which has nothing to do with Mikal. So the era of the second apron, which then has a trickle-down effect to second rounders being used in a lot of trades of late. I think I need to see a few more trades like that to really get a feel for it, and maybe Cam Johnson is one of those trades to happen. But I mean, we'll see, right? If he becomes a Warrior, obviously I'll be rooting for him. Say good luck to Wiggins and all that, but like, I don't mind if Wiggins is still a Warrior and Cam Johnson is not. What's that, Robby? If we are thinking of trades, is it really needed that our teams needed to look is the stats of players in 3 points? Well, we really have a lot. I think the problem is the problem is at the 4 and the 5. Oh, McConnell went and asked about Jimmy. Instead of Jimmy, Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton for $50 million. Huh? How would you get the $50 million? I think the answer to that is the same answer to every trade scenario that a fan would bring up is then why would the other team do that? So make the trade proposal, whatever it may be. You said, I mean, I shouldn't have to do that for you, right? So you're going, how about we get Nick and Cam, which is 50 million. Total. Well, so Wiggins and who? Go add up the 50 million. Like, why do I got to figure that out? You're the one who wants Cam and Nick. You go figure it out. Here's an easy one. Wiggs and Draymond. Wait, we're not trading Draymond. That's not realistic. So you do the math. You do it. It's your trade, man. And then why would Brooklyn want that? Well, they're going to want picks. Again, they're going to want picks. And I would rather use picks for like this summer, try to get marketing again. Then use your picks. Yeah. Mobile 7-foot guy that can shoot threes. Not an AAU type player, so doesn't always need to touch the ball all the time. Second chance points. Okay, I've caught up to all the comments. Any comments on? I doubt it. On Instagram, okay, cool. Well, I'm running out of batteries here, so what's next? So overall, I mean, this was trade talk. This was like therapy. Let's end the poll on that one. Let's go ahead and do some polls. Let's see. Would you trade for Cam Johnson if it involved 4 Wiggs and a first rounder? I don't even know if I'm doing this poll right. A second rounder. Let's just do that, see what happens. I don't know. I don't know if I worded that. So the therapy part, I was going back to, especially right now with everybody injured. We're going to get Steph back. Thank God. No Pods, no Gary. How's Moody looking? Let's look at the injury report. Uh-oh. Okay, cool. 11 p.m. Eastern report. Golden State. Kuminga out, Peyton out, Draymond questionable, Pajemski out. No Moody. Yay. Moody is not on the injury report. That's important, even though Moody hasn't been playing stay ready, moody of late, showing some of his deficiencies, which include driving to the hoop and staying in front on defense. Oh, wow. I just knocked my screen out of commission. So I'm going to be glitching on YouTube for a little bit right here. My fault. There we go. Plug in. Give me the beep. Yes. Okay. Good therapy. Yay. We got some therapy. Therapy in the house. So with all the injuries that we've had, the way that I look at this, and this is my biggest piece of advice for Warriors therapy, is to just treat it like the 2012 season. Just we're underdogs. Treat this like the 2012-2013 season, which is, by the way, the first season Let's Go Warriors went into existence. All right. That year we were 12 games over 500. We got the 6th seed. We played the Nuggets in the first round. We surprised everyone and advanced 4-2. And then the Spurs knocked us out. But we also got Andre Iguodala that summer, who, by the way, in case you didn't know, the jersey retirement is going to be announced tomorrow morning. So look out for that. I'll stick around and relaunch my make public my article on that, because it's out there on our website, but it's went back to hidden right now, or for paid subscribers only, because of some issues that I won't talk about again. So that's the biggest piece of therapy advice that I can give you on that is let's just lower our expectations of the Warriors these days, and just have fun with this injury decimated version. Now we're going to get Steph back, but we might not get Draymond back, so that's a problem. I can't find my screen at all, so I've got to find it somehow. Somewhere my back screen is residing, and I can't find it anywhere. There it is. This is nuts. Okay, so I hope I can get this fixed by tomorrow. Here, I'm going to sacrifice that one screen and just plug it in on a normal USB. Maybe I need a USB extender. Maybe that's the issue. I don't know. Man, I got a colorful spiral of death on my MacBook. I hope I'm still live on YouTube. I'm probably glitching like nuts. In that case, let's look at some comments. Oh, wow, this is really bad. Zach Levine, he's overpriced. Jonathan on Instagram, who's probably gone by now, but I would never trade for Zach Levine because that contract sucks. You don't want to be stuck with bad contracts. Okay, I think I've got my screens back. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. What else? You guys just really don't want to do behind the scenes stuff, do you? Guess it's not as popular. Oh, the Cam Johnson. Interesting. Nobody wants to spend a first rounder on Cam Johnson. Interesting. Oh, yeah. The film against India, I'd start with them hitting 3 straight threes. Yeah, I would too, except now I'm tired. I'm exhausted from an hour and 46 minutes with you guys talking about trades, really. And we've talked about trades for probably an hour. But I tend to ramble. Only 5 votes on the Cam Johnson for Wiggs trade. But yeah, it seems like every time the other team hits 3 threes in a row, it sinks the ship. However, the asterisk. We were decimated with injuries, so it's tough to judge the team again on anything, in my opinion. Even if it is 3 threes in a row, like, I mean, yeah, I would definitely, if I were Steve Kerr's neighbor, I would go knock on his door and go, "Hey, Steve, man, I noticed something." The thing I noticed is anytime the other team hits 3 threes in a row, our record is blank, or the last 3 times I saw that happen, we lost every single one of them. Now, granted, the third one was the other night and we were decimated with injuries, so maybe we were supposed to lose that game regardless, but still, I see a pattern. But I don't know. I don't know if there's just something to do with keeping the pace by not calling a timeout. If I ever get back to Chase on a practice day to ask Steve, then I will. But I don't expect to be doing that for a while. We'll see. But yeah. We just don't have the players right now. Yeah, I don't think we can judge this team until J.K. gets back. And probably the worst thing would be for J.K. to come back after the trade deadline. That would make it really bad. But let's hope J.K. gets back early, because he did say in his interview that he heals fast. I don't know if that were the exact words. Maybe he said fast healer or some combination of that. Let's look, right, heal faster. So here's the link to Jonathan. That's the video for that. And I'm going to close out this live by just watching the behind the scenes. I want to go through some things that maybe people didn't notice that I thought were pretty interesting. So let's go through that. You guys ready? Here we go. 150 mark. Looking at behind the scenes from Detroit and Indy for little nuances or similar. Okay, so first of all, the link is this. Here you go. Now looking at BTS Detroit Indy, 4 little nuances that you might have missed. What's the worst loss of the year? Oh, man. So my whole philosophy on that is, what's in the past is in the past. What's in the future lies in the future. So let's just focus on the next game at hand, which we should do actually after we look at this behind the scenes. We're going to play Toronto, and spoiler alert on Toronto. I mean, they're in tank mode. So we should win this game. I don't care. Like, granted, the players aren't going to execute a tank. Like, they have their own agenda. But if you're the Toronto management, you're definitely keeping your fingers crossed for a loss. Like, they want to tank. So maybe that's part of the problem for the Warriors going into this. They know that Toronto wants to tank, so maybe that'll not be a good thing competitively. You'd rather have some urgency. Then again, we're 19-19, so that there better be some urgency in that. And so, you know, we'll see what happens. I'll come back to Toronto after we finish this behind the scenes look. So let's end the poll, which ends with only 5 votes, but none of them want Cam Johnson for a first rounder. Hey, good. I agree with that. I do agree with that. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. Watching. Okay, first of all, you can see Rick Celebrini with Brandon Pajemski right here, working on the abdominal strain. Now, the other thing is, if we go back to Discord, there was a report from our guy, Danny Emmerman, I think it was. And he says, and I forgot to go through this, I think, my fault. But Monday will be Brandon Pajemski's 8th straight missed game. And he's running at full speed, but isn't yet nearing a return, he said. He's in good hands with Rick Celebrini, whose specialty is the core muscle group. However, we've had other guys with core muscle group issues, namely Gary Payton, and it took forever for him to get healthy from that. Celebrini teaching Pajemski how to run more efficiently. So this video, to start out the behind the scenes from Detroit, you can see him working immediately here with pods. That's kind of cool to see.
Tell home all about your...
Draymond back in Detroit, near Saginaw. It's only 10 minutes to take a rare Justice 1-2-3 that had audio. Gary's still doing this ritual. There's Yusuf, Steph's bodyguard. I'll turn down the volume a little bit so you can hear me kind of narrate this. This is great to see, just up close Steph before the game. I mean, this is just rare footage to have this close to Steph. And the background music was, shoot, I can't remember. I'll look it up. But this is also good stuff right here. Background music is... I love that. Let's go, Warriors. Crap, I can't remember what the music was. My bad. I always like looking at the other team's intros just to see how different they are. That's a pretty good intro by Osser. All right, tip off right here. First of all, Trace lost another tip off. Dude just cannot win jump balls. I don't know why, but maybe he's just too short. I don't know. Let's keep playing. This is the mascot. His name is Hooper. Hooper of the Pistons. Here's Jonathan Kuminga limping around with a walking boot. Actually, the left foot is the injured foot. We can see Tobias Harris go to work right here on Steph. So that's he's still producing, man. Now, this is beautiful Kerr basketball. Just watch how the ball moves. And at the end of it, you're going to see a screen by Kyle and then a slip cut, and he'll get the bucket. This is vintage Kerr system. There's Kyle. Goes slip cut. So Detroit had no answer for that particular play. And that's the advantage of having Kerr's system in play. This one is just courtside video of Cade losing ball. That's all it is. But it is rare courtside video. Look at Guy dive there for the offensive rebound tap. So we remember that one vividly. Played great. And then just the way that Steph navigates, just watch him with the ball. He's just so smooth, and we're blessed to have him. Just the way that he glides on the court. It reminds me of Michael, really does. Look at that. Just really good, graceful footwork. And then congratulating Guy. Here's a close-up of his thumb wrap, which seems like an issue that hasn't gone away, but doesn't necessarily affect him all that much. So this 3-and-1, you know what I love about that one is the way Looney set the pick. Watch how he sets the pick. He just keeps backing up with his butt. And it takes a lot of experience to know this. And Fontecchio isn't athletic enough to draw a charge on that or draw a bad screen on that one. But ironically, speaking of can Vucevic and Valanciunas set picks like that? That part, I can see why you'd want to stick with Looney, right? So here's the altercation. Now, Draymond's going to go this way. So is Ron Holland. But the moment Draymond senses Ron Holland entering the picture, he forearms him. And that's why Ron Holland got pissed. So that's why that flared up. Now, the good part is that Draymond's going to talk to referee Evan Scott right here. So it was good to see Evan Scott talk to Draymond about that. And I'm glad Evan Scott isn't just out to dish technicals on Draymond because we're tired of that, right? Here they are. Now get this. This whole time, Trace Jackson Davis grabbed right here. He grabs Dennis Schroder and gets him out of the fray. And a few seconds later, he's still grabbing Schroder. That was funny. I really like that part. He's still grabbing him. And then Dennis finally is having some fun with it. Watch Trace on the roll here. This is great courtside footage. Boom. Dunk it. Of course, it's a dunk. If it's a layup, he's probably going to miss it. Here is actually very bad defense by Steph. We talked about this during the game. So he just kind of kept with Simone Fontecchio instead of Ron Holland, and Holland gets a dunk. So that was Steph's fault. Some really good courtside footage again. Ron Holland clutch 3 over Draymond. Look at how smooth Steph is controlling the game. This is really, you can't really see this on TV. So it's great to have this in-game courtside footage. So just watch how he moves. We're going to get the rebound. And then look at that. Boom, bye-bye. Just, it's so subtle. It isn't like super shifty quick a la, I don't know. Who's like that? Can't think of anybody. It isn't like that, but it's just a really smooth, get you off balance like this, lull you to sleep, and it's beautiful to watch. So we got to enjoy this. Okay, this was the one I criticized Guy right here. He needs to get the ball back to Steph right here, but it escapes his mind. And for a young player, once that thought escapes your mind, it's gone. He's not going to be able to do it. So I would have preferred Guy go behind the back to Steph. Maybe that's something he doesn't have. I don't know. But like, just practice this. You got to get it back to Steph. And he doesn't. Right there, should pass it right back to Steph. Didn't happen. Now, the difference is like, most guys that we used to have in the previous era, KD era, what have you. I'm trying to think if 2022 we had that. Otto Porter, maybe? Could he have executed that? Well, in the previous era with Sean Livingston, for sure, right? But this is Guy Santos. So although he is an energy spark and whatnot, again, look at the smoothness. So Guy wasn't going to be able to execute that get back for Steph. Anyways, on this one, just watch again how smooth he is. It's just totally in control, right? Look at that. Look at those behind the back. Just pivot and shoot a 3. Here he misses a dagger. Again, this is the win at Detroit. Just look how smooth he is. Just really fun to watch. And this is great defense by Dennis at the buzzer. Thankfully, we pulled out the win. Cade Cunningham with the autographs.
Let's go.
This is the one where I still want to change the audio to the today I become number 1. Here's Jerry Stackhouse.
We had a good time.
This is a rare video of Jerry, but he used to be a Piston, so he has some ties. This is the court afterwards. But there's more. So there's behind the scenes with Draymond. This guy is Kenny Brooks, I think his name is. He's a comedian. He has like 1 million followers on Instagram. Gary Payton.
You too. Me, I'm gonna stay out of it. He gonna get me for all my money. He can sell. You already know what it is. You know how it goes.
So they were saying that they were going to play a trick on Steph. I don't know if it happened or not. We're in Indianapolis here, and let me see. I like to look at the intros again. Yes, sirs. Did you see that? The yes, sirs. Okay. I guess that's a thing. Where is it? I don't know how that didn't get copyrighted. Yes, sirs. What else we got? Intros, Tyrese, rolling out the flag, Steph out there talking to Dennis, Draymond, Gary, all talking to Dennis. their mascot, Boomer. That was actually one of the nice highlights. Yeah, it wasn't too exciting. Red Panda. Let's watch her execute this. The legendary Red Panda, once again. I've actually seen her miss before. And this is the end of the game. But let's just fast forward to this part where Steph signs a jersey for a little girl. So, really cool. Sets up Poison in the background, which I had to edit out. Or edit a little bit to make it non-copyright.
What happened?
And then we have the Alayah Wiggins and her not high-fiving Chuck E. Cheese. And that's how it ends. But this is back in San Francisco. Anyways, that's it. We crossed 2 hours. And so the next live is going to be tomorrow. Monday, January 13th, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Warriors at Toronto. We'll see you guys then. Time to get the Just Us, Mofia, and Blicky file from Cholo. Thanks for joining us tonight. It was good to just talk and have some therapy. But let's pull up the Cholo file. Blicky file. We'll see you tomorrow.
Today he came back. He came here today talking about how he got a new blicky.
For the uninformed, what's a blicky?
You don't know about no blicky, man. You had a blicky? You told me you had a blicky growing up. He was a shooter. Yeah, that's a blicky.
Come on, buddy. Shooting for me. All right, Brate as well. See you tomorrow, guys. Appreciate you.